Oh. Looks like our intro didn't play this week, folks. I apologize.
Oh, we're live. And I'm
Yes, we're live.
Mind.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I think it's because last time we recorded the shorts, we took out the
Yeah.
intro, and then we forgot to put the intro back. Hi, everyone.
Okay. I mean, we can still play it if you want, but you can also just skip it.
Well, oh yeah, we can also just do that. All right, let's give people time to.
GM, and welcome back to the coziest part of Solana's finest podcast, Sol Brothers, markets, prices, charts, and technical analysis. You know, on Monday, I told you that the bottom might be in. And let me tell you, the bottom might be in.
I was actually hoping for a little bit more of a dip.
yeah, bro. Like we dipped enough. Like the dip kept dipping. There might be one more dip, so don't worry, don't you worry. But it might take a while until it comes. And for now, I think we are at least in a bounce back, right? So it could be a rally to support levels or resistance levels to the upside before we see another bounce, or it could be a turnaround, right, to new highs. But either way, we've been so oversold on all the charts, especially on Bitcoin, that bounce was due at some point, and that I've been telling this since 2 weeks now. Basically, a little bit too early because we kept dipping, but the bounce was due. So, shall we look at the charts and try to make sense of where we are right now?
Yeah, let's look at the charts, try to see whether or not this was the shortest bear market in history.
I mean, it was we can call it a little trap, right? That looked like we're going to enter a bear market, but actually, like if you look at the Bitcoin chart here, the first resistance area was definitely broken, right? Which was the simple moving average line here, the yellow line. And you all remember we talked about this a few times until the break, right, happened. And we were hoping for a rebounds, which would be that would have been a direct bullish scenario. But we dipped far more than that. But it was just a bit of it was honestly a bit crazy, right? Like we saw double-digit billions in liquidations in the crypto markets over the course of 1 month, right? Only in November. Which is insane. It's a huge amount. We never saw that. We saw a fear and greed index below FTX crash levels. So there was definitely something was off, and people started to speculate. And I saw a lot of posts asking if there's like they're coming up with some conspiracy theories, basically like if crypto is dead and if something crazy happened, and because no one really understood what's going on. But then we look at the chart and we're like, okay, we see a bounce. It was eventually 35% decline from Bitcoin all-time high at 126, all the way down to where did we land? 80K, right? In the lowest wick. 35%, is that shocking for Bitcoin over like a few weeks? I mean,
For Bitcoin, yes, absolutely. For Solana, not so much, but for Bitcoin, just because of the amount of capital in there, and yeah, it's a small drop in the bucket compared to, like, let's say gold. But yeah, it is
yeah,
quite a big drop.
it is a big drop, but also we've seen these drops before, right? Like it's not the first time that this asset breaks down. So I think people were shocked, which is okay, that's fair, but not to an extent where you're like, oh, this industry is dead. Because we've seen 40% dips. Actually, we've seen 40% dips every single time. Not every single time, but majority of times when the daily RSI dipped below 30 in oversold territory. Like usually there was a dip in that extent that led to it. Look at some of these wicks here in 2022. Like that is painful. And compared to this, what we saw right now, it's like such a drop on a stone, on a hot stone, like it's gone. So I think we're doing okay. We saw the RSI dipping fairly below 30 on the Bitcoin chart, and again, as always, it's a very good indicator, a very stupid but simple indicator that tells you when Bitcoin hits such an oversold RSI level, it is usually a good time to at least buy spot. Leverage difficult because you never know how much more it can dip, because here you see it goes below, but then there's another dip below. So if you buy spot here at that level based on this indicator, and then you just wait for, let's see, 2 months, right? You'll be in profit, right? And that is probably that was probably true every single time the RSI hit below 30. And with such a significant drop here, there has to be a rebound. Is this going to bring us to new all-time highs? We don't know that yet. The confirmation is missing for now. But at least we see a very strong reaction right now to that support zone. And again, that support zone is exactly the zone that I was watching as well on the Bitcoin chart to provide support. We bounced there as the next basically resistance level before or after we did the break of the simple moving average. And when it comes to Solana, it behaved fairly similar. We also had like fairly oversold territory down here. We broke the 30 RSI, not too crazy, right? We didn't go to 20 or something, but we reached 27, still fairly oversold down here. And we're right now also seeing a really strong reaction to that support zone out here, which was the 100% extension for the C wave in red. That might be completed. Now I added another scenario on the chart since last time, which is the yellow scenario here that starts up here on the 25th of September in a yellow wave 1 down, wave 2 up, and then a wave 3, which brought us down to where we are right now, an impulsive wave 3. Now that scenario would indicate, that is the bearish scenario right now that I still have on my chart. That would mean we're right now in a fourth wave bounce. So this is just a recovery to the upside before a further dump. So that would support the idea of maybe rallying through December, maybe until mid-end December, but then seeing another flush maybe after holidays or in the New Year's or in January. That would support this thesis. What real-life events could trigger that? I don't really know right now, because right now it looks actually, from a macro point of view, it looks more plausible that we are on our way to complete this down movement here and go further up again. I'll get to that in a second, but here in the yellow scenario, that would mean we are gonna stop somewhere between 156 and 183, maybe a little bit higher even, if we extend to a higher FIB level, which is possible. We can definitely also see the 786 FIB at $200, also realistic for a fourth wave correction, right? To correct that third wave to the downside, this one here. So that would mean we're gonna keep pumping, and we're gonna return somewhere here, and then break down again in a fifth wave. That is everything's bullish right now. I don't have a bear scenario in the short term, but there would be the bearish midterm scenario where we see one more low. So if you want another dump, then you might get it over there for another chance to buy in cheap. But before that, we'd see higher prices. Now, I think that is realistic, but also looking at the chart right now here, how it develops to the upside here, I think we're starting to form some 5-wave move structures actually on the chart that we could start to map out as well. So for example, here we can draw one. Let's use yellow, or let's use a different color for this one. Let's use green. So this green one here, you would see a wave 1, a wave 2. Then we have an impulse to the upside, 3, 4, 5. And that completed right now. And it stopped right at the resistance level that I also watched here on the chart, because we have strong resistance up here at the $145, right? That's exactly where we got stopped. And that was technically a 5-wave move to the upside, which is the first indicator of bullish momentum picking up again. Now, if we now see an A, B, C, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we're on our way up, right? That will take probably another 2-3 weeks to see if that really happens. Until we see that, right now it's not my primary scenario. I'm still keep watching this fourth wave to play out in an A, B, C. But the more proof we see that the low might be in, so in the next sessions, when we look at this chart again, my thesis might shift more and more towards the bull case. And we do have some fundamental news as well. It's a macro news that would support such a case, right?
Well, what kind of macro news are you looking at?
I mean, one thing that piqued my interest was the news about the Ukraine war that we just saw.
Oh, that? Well, I mean, we might as well start with that, right? So a couple of pieces of news. So the White House oops, that is not the right. The White House claims that Ukraine has agreed to a peace deal, and with just a few details to be sorted out. This is not a picture of Zelensky recently. This is from a previous visit at the White House. But take it with a grain of salt. Even the Russians have an official statement saying that by Wednesday, it's premature to say that a resolution is close. Also, there is no word on the Ukrainian side at all whether or not they're close to a peace deal. We're taking the White House's word for it. You've seen this with the agreement that was negotiated with the White House between Hamas and the state of Israel. They were able to kind of take a very shaky, tentative agreement on both sides with pressure on the Israelis to finally end the war officially between Israel and Hamas. So they're trying to run the same playbook here, where they prematurely announce and hope that all parties will come on board. But this time around, the Russians have firmly rebuffed any signal that they are ready to end the war. And the Ukrainians as well, I think, are closer to making concessions that they previously would not have agreed to. But with the amount of support that the White House is offering these days, which is very little to Ukraine, it means that at some point the Ukrainians have to look at their lack of tactical advantage and might have to capitulate. So
Hmm.
TLDR, they're trying to run the same peace deal playbook that they did with Israel and Hamas. It does not seem like it's going the right way, at least the way the White House wants it. So still to be seen whether or not the war in Ukraine is actually over, but most likely not.
Okay. So a bit of fake news coming out from the White House here, or at least they're front
Well,
running.
yeah, no,
The news
they're
development.
trying to. This is the type of deal making that you see all the time in like private enterprise. You just don't normally see the biggest, largest military power in the world pulling moves like this.
Yeah.
But the Trump White House is comfortable approaching global politics like a business deal, which isn't always necessarily bad, by the way.
Mm.
I'm not one to say that that's always a bad idea. But
Yeah.
in this specific case, it did not work out, from what I can tell.
Interesting. All right, we're gonna keep watching this. I mean, the war has been dragging since years now, and actually insane if you think about it. But anyway, any resolution of that conflict will be good for economy and humanity, obviously. So I think we still yet to see that. So that might be good news that we can look forward to at least in 2026. On another unrelated matter, you can pull up my screen real quick. Just 10 seconds here. Fed decision in December. Current state of it, 25 bips decrease has the highest chance according to Polymarket, which would be medium bullish for the markets because it would be a rate cut, which is better than no rate cut, which currently has a 16% chance. And currently it seems highly unlikely to get a 50 basis point rate cut in December. So we're going to look forward to that FOMC meeting later in December. It's going to happen December 10th, actually. So not too far, slightly before breakpoint. So if they're going to pull the 50 basis point decrease, then this would be very, very bullish for the markets. But for now, we're going to expect 25%, which should move the prices only slightly, maybe provide a little bit of volatility.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. In other news, that's somewhat in the macro region, is Tether has become the largest independent holder of gold in the world, with only central banks owning more. This is a growing trend with stablecoins. They have to be collateralized by some sort of underlying asset. Obviously, they're going to go for assets that they feel will best back the reserve. And so that's why stablecoins like Tether and Circle are not only one of the largest holders of gold in the world, but also one of the largest holders of US Treasury bills. And I love this little graphic from Crypto Sam who says, why are they buying gold instead of digital gold? And the goose is changing, screaming, why are they buying gold instead of digital gold? And for those of you who don't know, Tether actually holds a very large supply of Bitcoin as well. So, they have both.
They do have both, but they are fairly active in gold acquisition right now. If you think about it, like to reach a state where you are considered to be close to what central banks are acquiring in gold, that's insane. I think right now they're at. I read in an article. I don't know if we have the exact number, but it was like 12% or something of the amount that all central banks are holding in gold that is held by Tether. I was like, okay, that is significant. That is like a significant financial player these days. And if you are asking yourself why gold is surging so much in the past actually this year was a record year since 1970 something for gold when it comes to price appreciation. And it was mainly driven by central banks and Tether, I guess, acquiring gold. Like it's cheap, but they just kept buying. Which is very interesting. And now I also have some articles that I just read in the morning today, which says central banks will end up holding Bitcoin in their reserves, even though it's backed by nothing. Deutsche Bank predicts. First of all, that is the counter case, right? So Tether acquiring gold as a crypto company, but now we also have headlines that say, okay, but central banks are also going to start acquiring Bitcoin. And at least they're considering acquiring Bitcoin because it has a fairly similar risk profile by now. Okay, that is probably not right to say now, but there is charts that actually, if you overlay them, gold and Bitcoin, and you put the different vertical axes on them, so one axis gold price, one axis Bitcoin price, they behaved in a similar way, with definitely more volatility on the Bitcoin chart, but both went up and to the right at the same time, basically. And I think we could actually see that the digital gold is gonna become more interesting as well for central banks, next to governments and private companies already now acquiring Bitcoin as part of their reserve strategies. But central banks is going to be a different level. So that is definitely bullish macro news, by the way, for Bitcoin in the long term. Excited to see how that's going to play out for real. We'll see. Probably sooner than later.
Yep. And so that wraps up the comfiest part of the podcast. Simon, take it away.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining the little TA and macro session, for your weekly updates on prices, charts, and technical analysis, and some macro news as well. If you like that content, subscribe to our YouTube. Please like the video, leave a comment, and make sure as well to check out our other videos, because we are talking about Solana news and everything that happens in the Solana ecosystem as well every single week. Until then, thank you so much for listening.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh, nice. Good job. Auf Wiedersehen. All right, guys. Stream, you can stay here because we're going to kick off the Solana section, if I'm not mistaken. Are we ready?
Yes, we are.
All righty. Now, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Sol Brothers with my good friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, how are you, my friend?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm recovering from a little sickness, so low energy, but my head works again, so that's great.
Okay.
And we do have a lot on the agenda today. It is a packed episode as always. What do you think is the most exciting piece that sticks out to you?
I mean, it's probably the hack that we're just about to talk about, but I don't want to zoom in too quickly. So zooming out, what are some of the things that we're going to cover?
So definitely that one. So we're going to talk about this fairly big hack that happened right now, based on from a centralized exchange. But besides that, we're also going to talk about the Monad token launch, because MON is the ticker, was the top traded asset on Solana in the last week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We also have a Solana native hardware wallet that is now ready for pre-orders. And I actually know for a fact that the team has been tinkering since quite a while. So I'm looking forward to that one. We are going to talk about Solflare and their TradFi meets DeFi strategy. Really exciting news, honestly. So happy to chat about that, besides some other Solflare news, like Solflare to the moon. So we're gonna see what that really means. And we have some updates from the SNS ecosystem as well, because their ecosystem map is getting larger and larger as they are pushing integrations throughout the whole ecosystem. And we also have some updates regarding the Margin Engine V2 from FlashTrade, which is probably the most anticipated feature or upgrade they are tinkering on since a while now. So we're also gonna take a look at that one, besides some other minor news. But without further ado, let us jump into it.
Yeah. So the first piece of news that we have for today is the biggest exchange in Korea. So you can kind of think of it as the Binance or the Coinbase of Korea. Was hacked for $37 million worth of Solana assets. It's a very, very long laundry list of assets, Simon. This includes many of our friends, Double Zero, Bonk, Doodles, Drift, Jito. I love how the way that Koreans spell Jito is kind of with a hard J, so they it's Zito. Jupe tokens, Soul Layer, Magic Eden, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of tokens that we're familiar with here. Now, obviously, this wasn't an issue with the Solana network, right? Like, it's not like there was a issue with the protocol itself. So, you've probably looked at a couple of these cases as well in the past. I mean, I think we both have. So, what's your take on like what happened here most likely?
Yeah, I think I actually don't know the specifics about the hack. I don't know if we have details yet. Like how the But we do know that actually fairly, it was just right now, right? Like a couple hours ago, like 4 a.m. Korean time. It's what I have on my notes. That there were abnormal withdrawals
Hmm.
that were observed in the exchange, and it was 54 billion Korean won, so $37 million, and they're all in Solana based assets. So as you just mentioned, including some memes as well. I think Bonk was in there, even Mudang and official Trump. I see. Even though Upbit obviously has like a security department, they are observing these things, and as soon as something like this happens, since it is a centralized exchange, they can freeze the wallets and pause all the Solana deposits or withdrawals. So they did that. They moved everything into cold storage and teamed up with probably the police as well and some other security companies to freeze some of the assets that have been stolen as well. Right now, the rest is still being chased on chain. I do see here that $8 million in stolen layer tokens from our friends from Solana are already frozen right now, while others couldn't be frozen yet. So it definitely hurts for the ecosystem. Such a big hack. I think the last time Upbit got hacked was a long time ago. 2019, I think is I read somewhere. So I think they are fairly safe, but there's still security issues here and there. But it is, these guys have a huge target on their back. Let's be real. Like hacks happen nowadays a lot of times, and if you have billions and millions of dollars under management and you're a purely digital business, I think you have a big target on your back, and either you get your shit together or you get hacked and you disappear. I don't think it's any issue for them. This amount of money, they actually said that they're going to reimburse everyone, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So they will be reimbursing the full amount to all their users. They obviously have the war chest to do so. And I think my prevailing theory here is it's the North Koreans, not only because of the proximity to our country, but also it just makes a lot of sense to me that with hacks of this size, right, across a variety of assets, and probably like dozens of wallets, if not more. And I could be surprised, by the way, but I would imagine that there was some level of social engineering involved. And when I think, how do you social engineer a Korean person? Probably other Koreans, and that would probably be the North Koreans. So, anywho, sad to hear it. Glad that they weren't drained for more, and hopefully this is just the end of that. And congratulations to the hacker, motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and that comes right after, I think they just merged, right? We covered this in a different episode. They just merged with Naver.
Naver, correct.
So probably they're like, damn, we just bought ourselves a $37 million kind of hole, basically financial hole in the company, because now Naver basically owns that hack, so they have to compensate for it. And they have the pockets. I genuinely think 37 million for them is not a lot of money, but it is money, and it hurts every business person, right? To see that go. But on the other side, it also gives you the opportunity to prove that you can make your users full again. So it gives you the opportunity for positive marketing and branding and positioning.
Yeah.
If you look at the bright side of things.
Yeah, a battle-tested platform.
Exactly.
That's what people always say when they get hacked. Battle-tested. Anywho, we have some really interesting numbers over the last 48 hours. With the Sunrise launch, over 131 million in total volume for Monad. Over 360,000 in trades and 21,000 unique traders. We've been covering this narrative since last week, and we're seeing more and more of this trend with so-called competitor chain tokens launching on Solana. And the new narrative that I'm seeing pushed from Foundation over and over again is why list on a SEX when you can list on Solana day one?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, that is kind of the future we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we've been talking about when there was. I feel like there was like a tipping point, probably when we launched our token. I was like late 24, mid 24. I think there was like a tipping point where the sentiment around centralized exchanges became more and more negative. I mean, obviously FTX kind of made an impact in the market.
sure.
But that is more on the user side of things. I mean the project side of things. Projects became more and more demotivated to talk to sexes and get extracted by them. So this now offers us an alternative, which is just launch permissionlessly on Solana. It's not easy. You can't just drop a token and expect it to pump. Which what you could probably do that on Binance a few years back. But it is at least it gives you the level playing field where you can now compete for attention for your token, and you have everyone there already looking at it, right? You have the users there, and I think that's pretty insane. And honestly, Solana DEX did 40.8 million more Monad trading volume than Binance in the last 24 hours. That is pretty crazy. We're doing significantly more trading volume of that asset on Solana compared to Binance. Why is that actually? Is that do you think it's asset specific? Is it because of Monad, or is it more like a general trend that we're observing? Could every token do that, or do you need to be Monad to do that?
I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
Monad specifically targeted and marketed to Solana degens. And
So I
so
think,
that obviously has a boost. If it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just a new L2, L1, whatever, I doubt that they would have achieved similar results unless they would do the same playbook as Monad. And also Monad, it's very clear, got the full weight of the support from Solana Labs, Anza Foundation, Toli, Lily,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So doubt it, but still impressive. Very, very impressive. So yeah, that's kind of my hunch there.
Cool. No, I think at least it gives us it pushes us in the right direction, and it is a great example for future projects to look at something and be like, okay, I can try it on Solana instead of going full on my sex kind of journey. That sounds very wrong. On my centralized exchange journey, and try to to close all these malicious deals with these guys.
It's
Anyway,
okay, man. You can go on a sex journey if you want to. Moving on.
yeah, whatever. What do you got for us?
Yeah. So we have a new hardware wallet called unruggable.io. As you can see, pre-orders are now live. I do not know what the differentiation is here compared to, let's say, Ledger. The only thing that they mention in the marketing that's very clear to me is that this is a Solana first wallet in the same way that Solflare is a Solana first wallet. What does perplex me is that it doesn't seem like there's a screen. Maybe behind that frog character, maybe it flips up. But from my first impressions, I don't see any presence of a screen. So that does perplex me a little bit. So I'm not so sure how that hardware wallet is supposed to work, except for, I don't know, blind signed, literally.
Yeah. So I know for a fact that these guys are trying really hard to. I mean, first of all, they've been a Colosseum breakout winner. That's kind of, I think, how they became relevant in the industry, and they want to increase the they want to build a better user experience for on-chain users. So they want you to use that wallet also on all your DeFi activities and so on, as much as possible. And that's what this device is supposed to do better than all the other hardware wallets. Because usually, if you have a ledger, I have a ledger and I never use it, right? Like usually, the ledger just stays in your whatever safe or pocket or whatever. You don't need to put it in a safe, by the way. That's makes no sense. But your ledger, you don't use it a lot, but this one you should be able to use as like a hot wallet, like your Software, basically, all the time, but with hardware wallet security built in, which I think is fairly cool. We definitely need to see how this actually looks like by using it. I guess that's the best way to do it. So might be a good idea to get one of these and maybe do a little product review or something, because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, they claim in their marketing that you get access to all of the services, all the transactions that you would like in 2 clicks, which makes
Hmm.
this even more confusing to me. Because what I expect from a hardware wallet is some sort of password protection feature, maybe a little bit of biometrics, certainly the ability to view which transaction I'm signing. I'm not saying that this is a bad idea, but it certainly is poorly explained. So
Hmm.
I would like to better understand how exactly this wallet works. They have a shit ton of partners that they're working with, and this is really key here. If you are interested in a pre-order, shipping will start in Q2 of
Hmm.
2026. My best estimate is probably Q3 or Q4 of 2026. Why? Because hardware projects are fucking hard. I do not envy them. Cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
this is the unruggable cold storage wallet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. Let's see how they do. Definitely made a big splash with the announcement now. Um, so yeah, maybe worth talking with the team as well at some point. Maybe next year
Yeah. So
on
I
the pod.
what? So I can tell them that their marketing sucks to their face.
Yep. And get them give them the chance to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe they have something to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's say out of pocket shit first, beg for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
So moving on to sponsor updates. Everybody at this point should already know what X Stocks Fi does. They are a new player that came on the scene this year. We were very, very shocked and surprised to see that we had tokenized representations of stocks on Solana, 24-hour trading. But it's here. It's been here for a few months, and there's this new feature within Soulflare Wallet called Soulflare Stocks. My understanding is that it is simply an explorer within the Soulflare Wallet that only lists the assets listed by X stocks. So it's not like Soulflare has, released their own tokenized assets, but they do certainly want to provide more visibility, discoverability, as well as trading and attention to U.S. equities specifically. So some obvious stocks that are on chain would be Nvidia, Tesla, Circle, etc. So if you want access to financial markets, you don't even need KYC with this, Simon, which is
Mhm.
phenomenal. I did not think that would happen.
Yeah, and look at the features as well. I think it's really cool. Dividends auto rebalanced or rebased to your wallet, which is cool. Like you actually get, you get fractional ownership, non-custodial control, and plus 24/7 accessibility throughout the whole year. Exactly, basically Wall Street but Solana coded. That's pretty much what it is, right? Like it is like trading a stock on Wall Street, just better. That's how it feels like, because you have better access to it and it's non-custodial. Mm.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's probably, if we do a deep dive on X stocks, we would probably be able also to at least discover a few flaws here and there in the whole setup. Of basically trading these synthetics of stocks on chain. Because you're using a middleman, right, at the end of the day, which is X stocks, to tap into the markets here. So you're not directly buying from the Nasdaq or something, the stock. There's definitely also for legal reasons, there's an entity in between that manages things and does the real world asset tokenization of these stocks for you. Probably some security risks in there as well. So just want to say that there's enough to talk about to create some controversy, but I think the positives heavily outweigh the potential flaws in that system. because you can give access for everyone to stocks. I think that's huge. Like I know people that couldn't buy stocks before this, and now they can. So yeah, the feature has been live on Solflare since a while. And yeah, you have an explore page in your wallet where you can either tap on tokens and you see tokens, and you tap on stocks and you see all the stocks. That's how it works in a nutshell. Pretty cool.
Also, Solflare cooked up a really interesting campaign. I actually think that this campaign was from months ago. I don't think this is a recent thing. But yeah, there was. I think
Yeah.
there's an award
It's
for the
been a
most
while.
viral X campaign.
Yeah.
And obviously, we had the first Solana transaction in space in partnership with Solid Store, Bonk, and Solflare. Obviously, so if you want to vote for this community award, which is being organized by the title sponsor of Breakpoint, Solflare, you can simply go over to Community Spotlights. You can see the Opus Award for the project or person who most embodied Opus in 2025, showcasing something uniquely enabled by Solana's tech or culture. And if you look at option number, is this not it? Well, excuse me, most viral X campaign. We have Solid Store, Neku AI, Play Solana, Pudgy Penguins. Don't want to play favorites here, but do love anything that has to do with both Solflare and Bonk. So, boom, that is how you vote. It is just that simple. Go over to solana.com/breakpoint/Solana and navigate your way all the way to the most viral X campaign on the Builders Awards. And, we should just go down this list later after this podcast
that'd be cool.
and start voting on our favorites.
Yeah. Cool. By the way, the transaction was actually 8 months ago on the 4th of April at 11 a.m. Yeah, I still have the salt scan saved from that exact transaction that happened in space. So it's really funny, actually. You can look at the transaction that happened in space and you can see what happened, who sent what to who. Really interesting kind of side fact. But yeah, I also would give my vote to our friends from Solid here.
Well, it also sounds very, very similar to your own project name. So vote solid, get solid. Anywho,
Exactly.
bringing back an oldie but a goodie. If you weren't familiar with the LFG token launch pad voting, that was Simon's campaign slogan. Moving on, of course, to a shit ton, quite frankly, of new ecosystem partners in the SNS service map. These partners obviously were not added like yesterday. They've been added over a period of time, I think over the last month. And that includes Unruggable, which is the wallet that we just covered, Vibe Network, Icon Shop, Get Soul Play, Maddle Fund, Domain Dex, Cherry.Fund, Helios, Lit Trade, Stake Toby, NC Hero, Flash Trade, hello, Magic Swap Pro, Buy Real, also hello, and Lince Finance. So this is just a PSA that SNS is always adding new partners to their ecosystem. And why are they doing that, Simon? Why do they work so hard? Huh? The BD team is so busy over at SNS.
It's their whole fucking business. That's all they have to do. Honestly, I mean, obviously they have to own the .sol premise and the domain, but if they are not integrated in the whole ecosystem on Solana, they cannot basically distribute their domains everywhere. What is your domain good for if you can't use it? So is the main job, I think, actually should be to enable the usage of .sol domains wherever I go. And so if I log into FlashTrade, I see my little .sol domain in the corner. That is much better than my PubKey. It just makes the user experience better everywhere, right? I think we all, if you're a heavy DeFi user, you kind of know your pub keys already. So you remember the beginning or the ending or both. So when you logged in somewhere, you're like, this is this wallet. But that can't be the future. So it's much better to have like a human readable name there.
Yeah. And, in terms of new integrations, new features, one thing that I've always loved and appreciated about SNS is just how much care and love and attention they put into outside feedback. So many teams, this includes Sanctum, Jupiter, like obviously we listen to our communities. But at the same time, we don't really have a system for it. I guess for a long time, at least for Jupiter and Sanctum, it was the research forums. We
Mm.
have these kind of Git books, interactive Git books, where we allow people to. Maybe it's not Git, but anywho, we have these forums where people can post different governance proposals or even feature ideas. The reason why I
Mm.
mention this is because there's a new feedback board that the SNS team has put together for their community to directly suggest new roadmap changes or even features. So it's officially live. It's one place for ideas, voting, and transparent progress tracking. So it's a two-way street. Not only do you have the community putting ideas onto the board, but you have the team that's updating the board so that people have full visibility into what the team is working on, which is very bullish for SNS holders. And as an example, this is what the sleekplan.app looks like. So
Mhm.
it's very Reddit style, right? Not a lot of
Mm.
posts here just yet, but this will be how people track and suggest features to SNS in the future.
Cool, makes sense. So if you want to take part in SNS, kind of overall, then I think that's a good place. Good place to start.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Simon, are you getting excited for Breakpoint?
I am getting excited for Breakpoint, 100%.
Yes.
It's getting
Well,
very close.
then I have the event for you. It looks extremely exciting. It involves a little bit of fire. SNS is going to be holding the MetaMask Builder Night in collaboration, obviously, with the MetaMask. And so on December 11th, which is the first day of Solana Breakpoint, there's a chance to not only hear from top Web3 minds, but also share ideas and meet fellow builders. So you can RSVP at this Luma over here. Simply go over to the luma.com/BN Solana. And you can register for this Builders Night. There's a bunch of different co-hosts, but obviously SNS is the first among our favorites. So, yep, that's what's going on with SNS and Breakpoint.
Yes, sir. You'll find me there as well.
Oh yeah, are you gonna go to that event?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll show up at least for a little bit.
So this is where I'm going to need a little bit more of your help because I think you pay attention to the let's say improvements with the cats are getting their food. You guys happy? Okay. I apologize for the sudden beeping. It's the robots.
Nice. The robots are feeding cats.
But I bet you that those robots don't have margin V2, which is margin engine V2.
Yeah.
So there's actually 3 phases to margin engine V2. So in V1, obviously, we have migration of positions, USD-based collateral, and referral system upgrades. For the second phase, we're going to have, it's going by too fast, but at the very last phase, we're going to have auto deleveraging. So I can read phase 3. I can't read phase 2. It's too quick. But yeah, there are 3 phases to margin engine V2. So you want to tell us a little bit what's going on over there?
If you can share my screen, we can actually use and also refer to some of the one quick article that we can refer to here is from FlashTrade, and the gist of this article is more about the scaling of the perp DEX using magic blocks, which is part of the overall strategy here, and it is part of the Martin Engine V2 as well. But doing this, like using magic block, helps them to bottom line just be faster. Okay, so you're going to get faster execution while still stay decentralized, because you do not have a single entity controlling the execution, as it is the case with other perpetual DEXs that we have in crypto that are not using a true decentralized system. It stays censorship resistant, which also plays into number 1. Validators compete to include each trade still. Healthier market dynamics, multiple executors reduce MEV and toxic flow, and fairness distributed execution prevents latency and ordering games. Overall, it builds a fairer and faster system. So basically, the idea with Magic Block on using Magic Block is to make the system faster without giving away any of the other premises that we love about decentralized systems, right? So that's one thing. And Margin Engine V2 is part of this larger plan, how it scales. I think when we see the full thing being implemented, when Margin Engine V2 is live, and by the way, there's another article that dives deeper. It's been posted a while ago. You can also find it on Anna's profile, on the founder of FlashTrade's profile. And we will be able to, just have much more assets on FlashTrade that we can trade with, which is going to be really cool. It's going to be faster thanks to magic blocks. And it's gonna also move the LP model a little bit around. So there most likely will be, if I'm correctly informed, only one pool that feeds all the trading pairs, basically. Because what Margin Engine V2 allows you as well is to use the same liquidity pool for all perps that are listed on FlashTrade, which is actually a true innovation that we haven't seen yet. So yeah, I think they are right now heavily cooking on that front, because they have been locked in together with the Magic Block team in the past few weeks, as I know, somewhere in Dubai. So
Yeah.
that's why we see a few updates coming in. Really cool, good stuff.
But there's a couple more updates that we'd love to share from the Flash Trade universe. The first thing that we want to share is that they have a lot of different FLPs, Simon. It's too many FLPs, and they're all named a little bit confusingly. But for FLP 8,
that's what I'm saying. It's going to be just one in the future. Just saying.
Okay, all right. Well, for FLP.8, they've added ore to the pool. So one of the advantages of the different FLPs is, in addition to holding the spot asset itself, it also amasses the trading fees, which is why it makes a lot of sense for you to hold a basket of assets that also, bless you, a basket of assets that holds not only the asset itself, but the trading that comes. So, because if you believe in the asset, then you also most likely believe it'll have high trading volumes. And if you're investing in assets that you believe don't have high trading volumes, you're a moron. So, so anywho, the point being is that it's much more preferable to hold a basket of assets that you feel are correlated, and also trade against each other, or trade highly against USDC or Sol or what have you. So yeah, if you are a believe or and you want exposure to the asset in a way that gives you not only the asset itself but also trading fees on top associated with the asset, please do consider FOP.8,
which has currently a small weekly APY of 1,292%.
Yeah, just tiny, just tiny.
Ridiculous. It's going to change. It's going to trend downwards, most likely. But
of course,
still, I think Aura can have a pretty strong APY, honestly.
Yes.
In Flash. So yeah, just keep monitoring it if you're interested in it. You can go on flash.solbrotherspot.com and set up your account, and then either trade perps or earn FLP yields.
There's a fart pool. I love that.
Yep. There's a fart pool, there's an aura pool, there's a whiff pool. They just removed the Samo pool. There was a Samo pool as well, the dog meme coin, because there was just not trading activity anymore. But yeah, arguably FLP1 is the biggest one because it holds the majors, ETH, BTC, and Sol, and actually also Zcash by now. So you get exposure to all these assets by holding FLP1 token, plus the weekly APY that comes from yield from trading activity on FlashTrade.
100%. And last thing that we want to share is, obviously, there's, for the Solflare community awards, a category called Rising Star for trading. And obviously we have a lot of favorites here. We love Ranger Finance, we love Jupiter Exchange, we love FlashTrade. Fuck DeFi Tuna. But you go over to solana.com/breakpoint/awards. And if you go over to, let's call it Rising Star Trading, we can very simply, boop, we love FlashTrade. There you go. We just we voted for FlashTrade for the Rising Star for trading. I know that Simon's going to do exactly the same. So cast your votes now. You have only a limited time, I think a week.
Cool. All right. I think that's a wrap, ladies and gents. That has been your second weekly update for all things Solana here together with the Soul Brothers. So I would say we leave you to it. Enjoy the rest of your week. And thanks for tuning in. As always, subscribe to our YouTube account, please, and like this video because it helps us grow. We will see you at the next one early next week when it's time again to chat about all new things on Solana. Until then, we hope you're well. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right.
Should
We
we-
got a
should
lot
we-
of.
Should we vote for these other things?
I will do that after I have dinner with my wife. I will see you, ladies and
dinner
gentlemen,
time.
later.
Alrighty. Then, yeah, thanks everyone in the stream as well. And
I'm
we'll-
putting Nick on
we'll
the
wrap
spot.
it up.
Fuck it. Yo, Nick.
You should warn him.
Hey,
What if
guys.
he-
No, I never. I
Listen.
never do. I don't do it for the Sanctum podcast either. Nick, have you gotten used to this yet?
Yep,
Just
definitely.
Boop.
He's just you just gotta be ready with
Yep.
you don't have a choice, Nick. did we
He
cover
looks
it
handsome.
all? Did we do a good job? Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, and we wore white for some reason.
Oh,
right?
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That was not
My
coordinated.
the only thing differentiating me and Nick is about 10 years, a marriage, and my hair is longer. That's about the only thing that's Nick, you gotta
Actually
stop it.
true.
You gotta get new glass. I'm gonna buy you new glasses for your birthday. This is getting
so
a little
funny. The hair, the glasses.
Dude, doesn't Nick look like my fucking little brother? He looks like my little
Yeah.
brother. It bothers the shit out of me.
Can you gift him a chain for Christmas?
I no,
like
I
the-
refuse. Oh my goodness! If I gave Nick, don't you
I'd
have
love
a
this
chain?
chain.
I feel like you do have a chain. Okay, he doesn't have a chain. All right.
You need a chain. We're gonna get you a chain.
I don't need.
Yeah.
Get him like a Sanctum chain or something. But anywho,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Adios.
Bye stream. See ya. And